In this demonstration, we're going to have a look at how we can install the first server of an Active Directory Rights Management server cluster. So what I've done here is I've come to my Active Directory Admin Center, I've created an organizational unit called Service Accounts, and what I want to do here is I just want to create a new user that can be used as a service account for AD RMS. So what we'll do here is we'll just launch up our little wizard, and all we'll do is we'll fill out the table. So I've created my username as AD RMS SVC. I've put that in Demo30, put my password, I've specified that the password never expires and the user cannot change the password. Now another way I could have done this, I suppose I could have created a service account, but we'll select OK. And we've now created our service account. The next thing to do is to prepare DNS. So in order to do that, all we'll do is we'll just launch up the DNS manager. So we'll just maximize this up a little bit. We'll just go to datum.com, which is our Active Directory domain. And what we're going to do at this point here is we're now just going to create a new host record. So we'll right click here, create a new host record, and we'll just fill out the table. So what I've done here is just create a record called AD RMS. IP address is 172.16.0.21. I'm not going to bother with the reverse lookup record, and select add host. We'll select OK, and we now have the record. The next thing to do now is actually install the AD RMS role. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to one of my other file servers or one of my other servers in order to install this role. So here I'm on the server, so all I'll do is I'll select add roles and features. We'll select next. Installation type will be role based or feature based. Server will be LonServe1. On the server roles, what we want to do here is we want to install the Active Directory Rights Management services. We'll add these additional features. Select our next button. Not going to bother with any additional features, select next. Quickly read through the summary screen, select next. And what we want to do here is we want to install an Active Directory Rights Management services. We're not going to bother with the Identity Federation support, so we'll select next. Select install. And we'll leave this to install. Now this will take a few minutes, so at this point here we'll pause the presentation and return back once the installation is complete. That's the installation is now complete, so we'll just select the close button. Now what we want to do is we just actually want to configure AD RMS. So I'm just going to come to Tools, and I'm just going to go to my Active Directory Rights Management services. So as we can see here, we're not currently configured, so let's just go back to Server Manager. In Server Manager, I've just highlighted the Active Directory Rights Management Services node, and what we can see here is we can see the configuration is required. So we'll select our More button. And then what we'll do here is we'll just select Perform Additional Configuration. This now brings me into Wizard. So what we'll do at this point here is select Next. Then what we've got here is we've got our Active Directory Rights Management Services cluster. And at this point here, because we don't have any servers, we're going to create a new Active Directory Rights Management server root cluster and select Next. We don't have an external database server, so we're going to use the Windows internal database on this server and select Next. Then on the service account, we're just going to specify our service account. And we're going to use the one that we used earlier, or we created earlier. And that account was the AD RMS SVC account with the password, and we'll select OK. Now that we've done that, we'll select Next. We are going to go with our cryptographic mode 2 and select Next. We are going to use AD RMS centrally managed key storage and select Next. And now what we need to do is just specify our cluster key password and select Next. On our cluster website, next thing we need to do is just configure this. We're going to leave it with the default first website and select Next. What we're going to do here is we're just going to specify our cluster address, so we just need to fill out the little table. We're just going to use an unencrypted connection. This is a lab environment. And we'll just put in the URL. And select our Next button. Then the next thing we get here is we get our licensor certificate. We're just going to change this to match up to our organization. And I'm going to make that a datum AD RMS and select next. Next thing we've got here is our service connection point. I am going to register that now, so we'll select next. Then just on the confirmation page, we'll just have a quick read through. Once we're happy with all of this, we'll select install. This is going to go away and just install our Active Directory Rights Management services. I'll pause the presentation at this point and return back once the installation is complete. And as we can see, now installed, and as we can see here, before I can administer Active Directory Rights Management services on this server, I need to log off and log on again. So we'll just close this down, close down Server Manager, and then what we'll do at this point here is we'll just log off. That's the end of this demonstration. Thanks very much.